All right. Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. And I talked about this on a previous live, but I was in bed and I was just talking to y'all very relaxed. But I found out some more information about this scandal that has been brewing that has prompted a lot of attention from the media. There are these threats of lawsuits going to be going out and all of these things. So we're going to get right on in. Hey, y'all, if y'all don't know who I am, I'm going to give you a quick intro and then we're going to be right on into this gig. Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. If this is your first time here, over here we are the Night Owls. If you have not hit that subscribe button, I want you to go ahead and do that right now. This is a channel where I talk about celebrity news and gossip and give my opinion on trending stories. But just know, keep in mind that over here, this is an acquired taste. You know what I'm saying? This ain't for everybody. So, proceed with caution. But, still hit that subscribe button. Anyways. All right. We are back in this thing. And there is a new scandal alert that has been going on and shaking up this investigation into what happened to Nolan Wells. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the Nolan Wells story, I've been covering it a lot on my channel. It is of a boy or a young man who went out with his friends on the 4th of July. While out with his friends made it back alive and he didn't. So there was no explanation as to what led to his death. Nobody knew if he drowned. Nobody knew if it was a unaliving or anything. We're still waiting for the autopsy report to come back. What we do know is there was this group of friends, and the guy right here, Bart, was amongst the group that was out there on Horn Island. Also amongst the group, or outside of the group, but also on Horn Island, was a girl by the name of Katie. Well, there was a release of audio, right? So one of the things that was said was, hey, the last time we saw Nolan was at 3:00, but one of my buddies, they yelled out to him to get on the boat at 4:30. Now, this boat supposedly had an emergency exit and reason to leave Horn Island because it was taking on water and there was a problem with the bilge pump. Now, in an interview with Batum Hate Us Tatum, there was a mention of a guy by the name of Bart. Warren said that he rode out with Bart on his boat, but then when there was issues on Wyatt's boat, he jumped ship from Bart's boat to Wyatt's. Now, Bart was alleged to have towed Warren and Wyatt from their situation. But in the midst of them being in this situation, there was a call to Cito. Now, in this call to Cito, you can hear somebody in the background say, "Damn it, Bart." And there was other things that people heard in the audio. Now, up to you, it is up to your interpretation on what you hear. Now, Nancy Grace, she had a engineer digitally enhance the audio so that they lowered the tone of like the background music and the operator that called so you can hear what the occupants of the boat said. So it is alleged, based on Nancy Grace's transcript, that people are saying, is he dead? Saying, Nolan, and different things that would make you think that at that moment something tragically happened with Nolan. Now, whether that actually was said, it's up to your interpretation. You have to, what do they say in these law and crime or these law videos? It's up to the effects on the listener or whatever. Like, that's up to you, what you make of that call. But I'm going to play the call for you, the enhanced version that Nancy Grace had posted. Now, once people started to wonder, who is Bart? There was people who looked on his social media and they saw a picture with him and a girl. They also remembered that they said that he last was seen with Katie. And people on social media, I didn't think that the pictures looked like Katie, but there were people on social media who felt as though the girl seen with Bart was Katie. And they alleged that they were in a relationship and there was a conspiracy that brewed that possibly this was an issue over this Katie girl, right? That was what the rumors were around social media. Now, also around the same time, Bart decided to comment to somebody because they're like, look, you're with Katie. There was this issue with Katie. They were alleging that he was behind unaliving Nolan. And he decided to comment under somebody's comment section and say this. It says, hey, oh, wait, before we go here, actually, let me play the call first. Okay, let me play the call first. This is Nancy Grace enhancement of the call. Let me go here first. All right, so she says, Nolan Wells enhanced distress call. Nancy Grace break down the newly released audio as a friend reports their boat is sinking near Horn Island.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the work coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
What'd
Hello?
you say? Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down there.
What did we just hear? What was that? Straight out to investigative reporter crime stories, Dave Mack. This is the sea. Is this
for a tow for the sea to determine, and a bilge pump not working, claiming they're sinking and calling for help. And yet in the background, are we really hearing all of this other activity?
All right, that was her quick video. Hold on one second. There was one that said, damn it, Bart. I think maybe that was the TMZ version. Let me go to the TMZ one. My bad. Let me go to the audio.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
What'd
Hello?
you say? Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming? Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
What'd
Hello?
you say? Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down there.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Atkerson. I think it's Jerry Atkerson. Try that.
All right.
And then other people cleaned up the audio.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Oh, shut the fuck up! Damn it, Bart. Damn it, Bart.
All right. So right after they say "get the F up," it's supposed to say "damn it, Bart."
I know we
Let's
have
go
a
back to
membership, like,
the.
guaranteed.
That was a social media user just pointing out what to listen to. So right after he says "get the F up," it's "damn it, Bart."
CETO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
What'd you
Hello?
say? Hey,
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
it's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. So that is the audio that made a lot of people want to look into Bart. Now, Bart, he said, because people were saying like, oh, this was due to Katie, he was dating her, he was responsible, etc., etc. He left a message under what looks like an Instagram post, and he said, hey, I just want you to know Nolan was a friend of mine. I want justice and the facts to come out. I just want you to know I love in Wyoming. I think he means I live in Wyoming and have not been in past Christian for over a year. I grieve for Nolan and want the same as everyone else. Thank you for your support. So people got really suspicious after this post was made, and they're like, what do you mean I live in Wyoming and I haven't been in past Christian in the last year? Like, you're literally on the CETO call, you're literally in the reports to the Coast Guard, and you're literally there. Like, what do you mean that you weren't there? So people started to have questions, right? They started to have questions, and this question came after the lawyer started to try to sue people. But this is some of the questions that people had as far as what he said. This is just an example. Her questions came after the threats of lawsuits, but this is similar to what people are asking.
Twice in that CETO. After hearing Bart's name twice in that CETO audio in the Nolan Wells case, I decided to see if maybe he's still around on social media. And sure enough, he's still on Facebook. So I sent him a message. It hasn't been read yet, and I'm sure I'll be hearing from his lawyers today. But here's what I asked Bart. Hi, Bart. I'm an investigative journalist. Would you care to comment on the CETO audio that names you twice? You claimed you were out of town. Where were you? Do you have receipts from your travels, meals, or other proof of being out of town? Or were you on that boat? Why did they say, damn it, Bart? And why were you instructed by name to undo the plug while you were going? And while he was going was right after they said, throw him in. So Bart would love to hear a response. After hearing Bart's name twice in that CETO audio in the Nolan Wells case.
All right. So as I stated, her questions that she posed came after the lawyer decided to threaten people. But that is basically the sentiment that people had, and we're asking as it pertains to this comment that Bart made where he said that he was not in the area. People were also saying that he was dating Katie, and people wanted to know why and found it very suspicious and started pointing fingers and accusing him. So his mom decided to go off on social media users because she felt as though people were taking her son's words out of context, and she did not appreciate people implicating her son and trying to say that he had something to do with Nolan's death. This is what Beth, his mother, had to say to a user. That circled picture is not my son. You are stirring the pot by reposting things that are not factual, and you have manipulated words. He said he has not been in Past Christian in a year, which is where that picture was taken. He was clarifying that he was not present there. Wait. He was clarifying that he was not present there. He never said he was not in Mississippi. I have a screenshot of it, and and if you need me to send that to you, he is playing football out of state and was only home in Ocean Springs for a few days in July and was on the boat that towed the boat that Nolan declined going on because he wanted to stay behind. The audio that you are referring to is not as you guys see. They were panicking and creating a plan to get the boat saved from sinking. The newest news has been reported that Nolan was seen on the island after the two boats left, and there are pictures from my son's boat of the boat about to be towed. And clearly, Nolan is not on the boat. So for all you internet investigators, your plot to accuse my child of something is not warranted, and it'll come out sooner than later that he did not harm Nolan. And believe me, those who slander his name without warranted will be held accountable for their words. So his mom, even though he never said, hey, I was in this area on the 4th of July, she was upset that people were taking his words for what he said as facts, right? Like, he said he hadn't been there in a year, but his mom is mad that they didn't add context to his post that he didn't say. And so she felt it necessary to clarify. Well, after they decided to clarify and make people know that they will be taking action and holding people accountable for anything that they say about her child, okay? Period, poo. There was this guy on social media who decided that he was going to represent any of the people involved in this. So a guy by the name of Russell Latino, he was making pleas for several days that he desperately wanted to be in the mix, right? He desperately wanted to represent one of the boys that were being accused, okay? And in my opinion, he's trying to do what they accuse Ben Crump of, tracing the ambulance or whatever. That's just my opinion, but that's what it looked like. Looked like he's trying to use this to make a name for himself because he was so desperate to be included in this story that he said, I'm willing to offer up my services free of charge to defend one of them, because after all, this story has a lot of publicity. This story comes with a lot of news outlets trying to be in on the story and those connected and talking to them. And it even scored him an interview today on News Nation that he's advertising and so happy about. But Russell Latino, he said that, he was willing to represent people if that even mean like he'd do it for free. So there was a person on Facebook that was named Delilah. Hold on, let me find it. Oh, Adelia. So they had posted up this, what they characterized as an obsession. All right. So this is Adelia's words, not mine, but that's what they said. They said he is obsessed. I say probably desperate to be a part of the action. But Adelia posted up a post and said, so Russell Latino from Madison, Mississippi is obsessed with this Nolan Wells story. That's all he has posted about in the last 5 days. He owns the Magnolia Tribune. He's offering to help sue all the people who said there was murder. He uncomfortable with people talking about Mississippi. How uncomfortable he thinks we are living it. All you have to do is read what he wrote to know who they are. So Adelia pulled up different posts that he had been making. And in a previous live, I went over some of these posts with you, but we'll go over them again because we have time today. Why not? Some of you guys may not have been on my last live. Like, I didn't really have a lot of energy on my live when I was talking about this last. I wasn't on camera. I was in the bed just, going over things. So we have time today. So let's go over it again. So Adelia posted up all of these posts that he had been making about this case. And they posted up his credentials that he has listed on his page, where it says that he is the CEO of the Magnolia Tribune. He's a public figure. It lists what university he went to and so on and so forth. Then this, they screenshotted different posts that he had been making, and it says, if you see anyone saying or implying that any one of Nolan Wells' friends are murderers, that they know or are certain Wells was murdered, will you please take a screenshot of it and send it to me? If Wells' friends are ultimately exonerated, I plan on offering my legal services free of charge, no contingency or fee, to file defamation lawsuits starting with a look at Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, Nancy Grace, and any media outlet that repeated their statements without any challenge. But I will not stop there. This prejudgment, factless bullshit has to end before it tears our community apart. Be skeptical, demand results, but you can't just accuse people of anything without evidence. This has nothing to do with Magnolia Tribune. This is Russ the lawyer. So as you can see, in my opinion, he's desperate to make a name for himself as Russ the lawyer because this case has publicity and he's willing to do it free of charge. And he got and snagged a client, Bart. Bart's family retained him. But before we go over the statements that he made in his retainer of them, let's go over some of his other posts that Adelia picked out from his page. So let's read through them. All right. So this is another post that he posted. It says, before you buy the sensational narrative the media feeds you for clicks, remember Tawana Brawley, the Central Park Five, or the Duke lacrosse players. Many an innocent person, white and black, have been railroaded by complicit media outlets promoting racially charged narratives that ignore exonerating facts. Ask yourself, why almost all of the focus has been put on 3 white young men that people saw leave on a boat together without Nolan. Ask yourself why Ben Crump and Al Sharpton have not acknowledged Trayston Shepard and Javon Williams, 2 other young black men who were part of the friend group that day, who have explained why the phones were on the boat and who have explicitly said there was no race thing. Well, Russ, I'm not sure if you recognize or not, but Ben Crump actually did a joint interview with Javon and his mom, and they answered questions about the night in question. So They're aware of what Javon said. Also, Trayston was brought up in several interviews as it pertains to Nolan Wells' mom as well, where she said, I don't know him. And then she did another interview after he admitted that, I assume they know me because I left my car at their house. She doubled down yet again and said, I don't know him, But they have acknowledged their statements. Javon, unlike the other boys, attended Nolan Wells' funeral. And they have been commenting on what they said. So anyways, but in fairness, I don't know when this screenshot was taken. So this is him proud of, getting some publicity and promoting. My interview with Commissioner Tyndall made Good Morning America today. Hopefully people are starting to understand that the salacious narrative isn't a full picture. All right. So then he posted up another post that says, undetermined pending investigation, which was a comment to Nolan Wells' parents and Ben Crump reading through the independent second autopsy. Undetermined pending investigation. The pathologist was not there to explain no lacerations, no broken bones, or a red band on the musculature under the skin of his neck, but no corresponding skin or bone structure abrasions, injuries, throat structure not sent by state. Basically said he couldn't tell how he died, but I give it to Crump. He can make reading an inconclusive medical document into murder. All right. Another post that Adelia screenshotted of Russ. It says, some important context. Nolan Wells' friend group went out to Horn Island mid-morning on July 4th, and 3 separate boats that docked together on the northwest tip of the island. There were hundreds of boats and likely thousands of people spread out across the island, which is quite large if you've never been out there. This was not a solo trip to a desolate place with just 4 people. The group was drinking. I'm going to correct you on that line. The group was underage drinking. Fixed it for you, Russ. While people were in the water, they put their cell phones on the boat. Trayston Shepard told ABC News that many people had done this, including Nolan. Javon Williams has also left his phone on the boat and had to retrieve it after he got back from Horn Island. That provides a perfectly reasonable explanation as to why they had Nolan's phone. Another post by Russie. Tomorrow, Ben Crump will announce the preliminary results of the independent autopsy of Nolan Wells in Chicago at the NAACP headquarters. My prediction is that it will be enough to keep people who think Wells was murdered believing that, but not enough to answer people who don't. After that, perhaps he'll do the interim autopsy results in Selma or the nearly final autopsy results in Gettysburg. Talk to the families of Tamir Rice and Trey Reed about their experiences. If there is proof Nolan Wells was murdered, quit the performative measures and qualifications and produce it here in Mississippi. Go to Ocean Springs, look the people there in the eye and produce it. All right. So these are some of the posts that he posted. And he even threw out these facts that show race relations are good. Like, what? Racism where? People have reported that race relations with white and black people were good. I'm going to read this and then we're going to go on. Race relations in America have cratered in the last 20 years, according to surveys conducted by Gallup. In 2004, 72% of Americans describe white and black race relations as very or somewhat good. This included the vast majority of black citizens by 2013. Those numbers had slipped but majorities of both white and black citizens still describe race relations positively. By 2021, those numbers fell to just 43% white citizens and 33% of black citizens. They've rebounded slightly, but nowhere near the broad optimism of the early 21st century. What are the explanations for this collapse? Did things really get worse? Did we just become aware of how bad they were? Or were isolated incidents amplified to make us believe that maybe they weren't isolated? The media doesn't survive by telling stories about millions of positive interactions between white and black people. It survives off of conflict. Social media is that on steroids. Then he had some other facts that he wanted us to know, and we'll go down to the lower paragraph. There were 449 known black homicide victims in Mississippi in 2024. It is undisputed that they died by foul play. Al Sharpton and Ben Crump showed up for none of them. To my knowledge, Tyler Perry didn't attend their funerals. Now, we read this stat yesterday, but what I forgot to include is how many of these 449 incidents that were not foul play had an arrest, right? So see the difference here in why they decided to show up here, because those 449 instances, I don't know how many landed in arrest, but I could tell you that majority of them, there was a suspect that more than likely got arrested and didn't get away with it. See, the difference is like when cops violate and when there are situations like this where it seems like there's a possibility of a cover-up when people don't trust Mississippi, is because these boys one of them have a parent that is a judge. Others have high positions and rank in that town, and therefore they have the means to not be held accountable. So therefore, in order to make sure that if there is foul play on their behalf, a strong if, because we don't know yet, if there is any type of issue, they can be held accountable also. Now, yesterday I pointed out how most of his talking points sound like Tatum, or Tatum sounds like him. I don't know. But the same things that he says, the same talking points that he says, is the same gibberish that Tatum spews out of his mouth. So, like I said yesterday in my live yesterday, I wonder who's inspiring who, like, is Tatum getting talking points from Russie? Is Russie getting talking points from Tatum? They seem to have the same views, talking points, and interest, but maybe Russie is where Tatum gets it from, or vice versa. I don't know. But yes, I seen one of you guys mention it in my comments, but we talked about that yesterday over here, as well. Now, this is a post from Adelia, and Adelia felt like Russie was obsessed. Now, I don't know if you guys remember Carlos, but Carlos was a former judge that spoke out about what should be happening in this case. All right. So remember when he came forward and he did a video and he was like, there should be arrests, there should be subpoenas, there should be da 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 da. Let me share with you guys just this quickly, just to give you guys a refresher. So this is Carlos. He was a former judge, but I believe he practices law now. He made a video that kind of went viral. We're gonna just play just a quick snippet of it.
In reviewing, we know that out of the 4 people on that boat, one did not return home. That one person was Nolan Wells. The other 3 returned home as normal and said nothing to any member of law enforcement or to the Coast Guard until at least 11 p.m. at night on July the 4th. We know that at least one of the so-called friends was found with the phone of Nolan Wells. And we know this based on the testimony of the parents, specifically the mother, who tracked the phone and was led to the home of one of the young men where she retrieved the phone. We also know that based on the mother's testimony that Snapchat, there were no Snapchats from the day, which was very odd for her son. We also know that text messages were deleted. We know that when she was tracking the phone, Life 360 said the phone was one place and Snapchat said it was another place. We know that the boy that had the phone did not voluntarily turn it over or call first. He had to be found through their own investigation. We know that
I sped him up a little bit.
The so-called friends were seen on July 5th, that Sunday, having breakfast together like nothing had happened. They were not out there searching for their so-called friend. We know that the so-called friends deleted their social media, deactivated their accounts, and scrubbed it clean if the allegations are correct. We know that the young man that had the car at his house did not willingly turn over the keys. At first, he said that he did not have the keys. He didn't know where they were. Then after being pressed by the father, he finally turned over the keys. This is all very suspicious activity. We know that based on an audio recording and some video that Nolan Wells can be heard saying, "Give me my freaking keys." Excuse me, "Give me my freaking phone." And there's been 2 different versions. Some say he said, "Give me my freaking phone," or some say he said, "Give me my MF phone." Regardless, he was asking or demanding his phone. Someone had his phone who did not have permission to have his phone. So the first thing I see, the simplest thing I see is who had his phone and why? And was that theft of the phone? Sometimes we look at the largest case, we try to get to murder, but the person that took his phone committed a crime right there. There are witnesses to who took that phone. If an affidavit is signed, an arrest warrant could be signed by a judge in Mississippi to go after that person that had that phone unlawfully. We know, based on his own words, Nolan Wells' words while he was alive, he did not give whoever had that phone permission to have that phone. So was that theft? I think if an affidavit is signed, if it was presented to me when I was a judge, I would have signed an arrest warrant for the person for theft of that phone, based on what I've heard. It'd have to be an affidavit format, but if it was presented to me, an affidavit format from law enforcement, I would sign the arrest warrant for, at least at this point, theft of the man's phone. We know who had it. We know who didn't report it to the family. The family had to go find it, and we know that Nolan Wells said, "Give it back to him," and never did it. It was not given back to him. Why was that? All of the other things.
All right. So I think when he did this was before Trayston said that was him and not Nolan. So there was an update in this a video where you can hear somebody yelling in the background. Trayston came forward and said that was him and not Nolan, right? So this guy, after old Russie decided to make it known that he's going to be going after people, Carlos said that he will be doing free consultations. So let me pull this up, and I just wanted you guys to get a refresher of who he was. So this is what Carlos posted on his social media after Russie was threatening people. All right, so in this post, it says, if you live in Tennessee and received a cease and desist letter from Russell Latino about comments you made relating to the Nolan Wells case death investigation, please feel free to contact me for a free consultation. If you live in another state and need a referral, I'm sure there may be other volunteer lawyers willing to provide a free legal consultation. I'm happy to compile a list of lawyers. Reach out to me privately. It's important to know what is protected speech and what crosses the line into defamation. By the way, how do I have more followers than the CEO of the Magnolia Tribune? So he showed that Russie has 9K and he has 88K, and then he showed their stats together, and he offered his services to people who live in the area. Now, speaking of Russie, let's go to this statement that he made after he retained Bart, okay? And after he went after a woman by the name of Kimbra Lee based on what she was saying. So there was a woman on social media, and let me actually take this down right now. There was a woman on social media named Kimberly who had been making tons of videos stating that she was getting down to the bottom of things as it pertained to the Nolan Wells investigation. She made videos saying that Bart was a suspect. She made videos saying that she was investigating it. She had pulled up their information and everything like that. Well, they went out and said that they were going to sue her, and she basically clapped back and said, lawsuit? Like, I ain't got no money. Okay, she said she ain't got no money. She ain't got it. She said, I ain't got it. Okay, I ain't got it. But let me show you some of the posts that she made on her page. She said, oh, she's going on and on and on. Hold on. All right, we'll read these real quick. I just came across them. All right. I knew once the blog saw they were suing a white girl, trying to help it would spread like wildfire. First, you have to prove what I said is false. Secondly, I have nothing to lose or be taken from me. Sue me. The courtroom display will be filmed for my album rollout. And if you win, I claim bankruptcy and move to Europe for 7 years with my new huge fan base, and then return and run for president. All right. So this is her saying that, she is going to soak up all of the new press. But before she started to be happy about this new press that she got, she was going down the rabbit hole of things that she felt was leading her to the culprit of Bart and other people involved. So I'm going to show you a couple videos that she had posted where she was saying that he was going down. She was saying that he was a suspect, etc.
Do you see the strategy of what we were doing to build the case? Okay, you start with the shit you know you can prove. Baby, we had him on manslaughter and accessory, period. Okay? We trying to get him to come forward. They not all right. You gave us more time. All right. By last night, before we really had the fully enhanced vocal, we had him on M2. We had him on second-degree murder. Easy. After all that, after the Bart, that was M2. Easy. But then after the CETO came out, baby, the immediate go for the cover-up, not even, bro, y'all got M1 now. Y'all fucking got fucking M1 now. And now we can prove it with that audio. Okay? And it looks like Bart is fucking suspect number one, baby. All because y'all kept saying buddy, buddy, buddy. See, I'm trained to know what to look for with you stupid lying ass kids.
All right. So that was shared only so that you know some of the things that they reference in their cease and desist to her. She was claiming that Bart was a suspect. She claimed that he was going to be charged with M1. She made a lot of allegations about Bart, and she feels as though he was going to go down for this. I'm going to show a couple more of her videos that she would go on rampages about who she felt was responsible. Now, a person that she put a lot of focus on was Bart. And in these videos, she would pull up the parents' occupation. She pulled up the fact that Bart has a father that is a doctor. In the fact that he had bad reviews on, I think, Google. She read different Google reviews where people made complaints about Bart's doctor of a father. And ironically, Bart, his father is a doctor. And the same place that he works is the same place that Nolan Wells' mom worked. Like, they work for the same company, which is crazy. But let's go through some of the videos that she made.
What I might think or what you might think and what we can prove are two different things. Okay? I might think them they did murder him. Can I prove that today based on the evidence we have? No, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't prove it because I might think it or want to think it or want to believe it. I can't prove that today based on the current evidence. I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me because I'm telling you what we can and cannot prove. Expelled from bedroom law school. What I might think or what you might think, right? You want it to be, I want to hear all the bullshit. Well, if they were black, they would have been charged. You know what? You're probably right. Because the angel, the DA. So let's look at Fulton. Fulton said that wasn't me. All right. I have to go try to prove it's Fulton. I can't do that. Whatever. Now let's look at Bart. I heard Bart's name on the fucking thing. I didn't know if he was talking about Bart Simpson. How the fuck I knew he was talking with Bart? What's going on? Okay? I can't prove that. But if Bart's name's on the motherfucking Coast Guard report, you can't get out of that, boo-boo. That's evidence there, okay? That's good enough as having a picture of him on a fucking boat, bitch. All right? So, unlike Fulton, who really just has a picture versus a word, we have an official Coast Guard report with Bart's name in the report as a person involved. So, explain your way out of that, baby. You got to do that in court. So let's look at Fulton. Fulton said that wasn't me. I just got to tell you, I'm really upset with y'all. I'm upset with... Now, let me see what DJ Vlad is. Let me tell you little motherfuckers, you little tall. Let me put my glasses on. Well, we've got enough. I love how we were like, okay, Mississippi, y'all not going to do y'all's jobs? We'll do it for you. Well, social media, get together. We'll do it for you. Relax. Just have a seat over there. Go eat some fucking donuts, Mississippi. We got it. We're going to solve this thing before y'all even fucking get out of bed today. I love how we were like, now who is this? An alleged statement from a witness? No. All right. If my boat's sinking and my friend is dying, who am I going to call? Who am I supposed to call first? Because if I can't drive the boat to shore, we're going to all sink and die. Okay. So if my friend's injured and my boat is really taking on water and I have to call CETO or whatever to try to get us the fuck out of there. And then in the midst of the CETO call, my friend dies. Okay. And now I got another friend that's like, can pull us out to get us to where we're going. All right. That seems like it's what's happening. You have to prove the boat was not sinking at all and they made up that story just to make it up. But we wouldn't have had the audio of Nolan dying in the fucking background if it was a fake sinking call. Why would they have called to record that? I really think they might have been sinking and Nolan was injured and they couldn't have no way to get out of there. And so they were trying to get the fuck out of there. And all right. If my boat's, before I see anybody's interviews, just the most logical thing is that one of their brothers hit him. Y'all got to go find it for me. But I do remember that One of them little stupid kids, I think it was it Warren? I don't know. One of them was gone, and then we had to pull the other one on the boat to get him out of there quick. I think that's Nolan. I think the one they were. I don't know why the grandpa had to go get his ass involved. So I'm thinking behave. So now let's look at Wyatt's culpability. First, you were on the phone with Cito, who asked if that Mark Lamont. Now let's. You know how you could tell she was a fake doctor? Now, you see, the problem that we're going, let me tell you, all we know is that no matter what happens criminally, the Wells family has several cases with all these rich kids with their $1 million homes on the water. Okay, so now we about to get that anesthesiology money, baby. Oh, look, another pain management doctor, just like Warren's dad. Can I get some anesthesiology money, baby? Can I get a $2 million home on the water, baby? Can I get your son's name on a Coast Guard report, baby? Can I get a big owl? Can I get your son lying saying he was in Wyoming? Can I get a big owl? Can I get your son's name on a vocal recording from Cito? Can I get a big owl Sharpton? Ma, how long we been sinking? We about to get that. And obviously, we need y'all to run us Bart's GPS ASAP. Subpoena that right now. Doof. And we already knew y'all had 3 boats. The problem is we didn't know who the boat owners were, and now we know who they are. Now we know. Because you know why? Loose lips sink ships. Y'all I know y'all don't think y'all can learn. Y'all never heard me say I ain't even doing the most yet, huh? Well. What do we have here? Do we have here some Google reviews from 10 months ago? Now, what did Michelle Fuller say? She said the first time I met him meaning Dr. Edmondson, Bart's dad, he really didn't ask much about me. More just like talked about how awesome he was at Dartmouth.
All right. So you guys get the idea, right? So those were just to show you, not for the truth of the matter asserted. Okay. I done been to enough court cases. That wasn't shown for the truth of the matter asserted. That was shown just simply because that is what is referenced in this cease and desist. So after she made those videos that I shown you for the purpose of reference to what is in the cease and desist and not for the truth of the matter asserted or to slander the Edmondson's family or to say that I believe the things that she's saying, that is up to the listener and the effects that it have on them. They sent her a cease and desist, right? So the lawyer Russ sent her a cease and desist, and he referenced quite a few of the things that I just showed you. So let me pull up this. Hold on. All right, so here is the cease and desist that he sent out, and we're going to read through it. All right, so once we read through it, then I'll show you what she said in response to being sued or the threat of being sued. Okay, so hold on, let me make this a little bit bigger so that I can see, child, because y'all know with these lights blasting in my eye, honey, it'd be hard for me to see. All right. So it says lawsuit. Law Office of Russell Latino the third. Cease and desist, demand for apology and correction and preservation of evidence notice. It says, Dear Miss Lee, I have been retained to represent Bart Edmondson Jr., a Mississippi resident, in response to numerous false and defamatory statements you have published on social media channels under your control, including but not limited to Facebook and Instagram channels operating under the name Kimberly. We have also determined 2 potential aliases, including Susan Speezer and Lauren David. This correspondence serves as a formal demand that you immediately cease your unlawful conduct Preserve all evidence relating to your publication, retract and correct your false statements, and take immediate steps to mitigate the substantial damages your actions have caused and will continue to cause. Please read this letter carefully. If you are represented by counsel, please have him or her contact me at their earliest convenience. Nothing contained herein constitutes a complete statement of Mr. Edmiston factual or legal positions. He expressly reserves all rights and remedies available under Mississippi law and any other applicable jurisdiction. We also have submitted or are in the process of submitting information to the FBI, U.S. attorneys, offices for the Southern District of Mississippi and the Eastern District of Louisiana, Attorney General's office in Mississippi and Louisiana, and local law enforcement in Jackson County, Mississippi, and Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, to determine if your conduct violates federal and or state criminal laws that prohibit cyber stalking and harassment. Your repeated doxing efforts that have included publishing his address, pictures of his home, and land plats of his property expose my client and his family to considerable safety risk. Indeed, as of yesterday, my client has received a credible death threat being in, and I guess he meant investigated. He put being investigation by federal and state law enforcement. I think he meant being investigated. All right. So then it says factual background. Nolan Wells disappeared on or near Horn Island off the coast of Jackson County, Mississippi on July 4th, 2026. Attempts to find him began on or about the evening of July 4th, 2026. His body was ultimately discovered deceased off the shore of Horn Island on July 6, 2026. An investigation was launched into his death by law enforcement officials and remains sealed pending its national attention and considerable unsubstantiated speculations. Beginning during the weekend of July 25th to July 26, 2026, and continuing thereafter, you have published dozens of videos, written posts, photographs, comments, and other content concerning the death of Nolan Wells, many of which sought to erroneously implicate Mr. Edmiston. Among other things, you have represented or implied as fact that 1. Mr. Wells was the victim of criminal conduct up to first-degree murder. Number 2, Mr. Wells died aboard a boat off the coast of Horn Island. Number 3, Mr. Edmiston was one of 3 suspects implicated in the death of Mr. Wells. 4, Mr. Edmiston engaged in specific conduct that caused or contributed to Mr. Wells' death. 5, Mr. Edmiston concealed information or otherwise acted inconsistently with innocence. And 6, various purported inconsistencies or official documents established Mr. Edmiston attempted to cover up his alleged role. These statements were presented to an audience approaching 200,000 followers, with the estimated combined impression of your post reaching into the millions. Those statements have since been repeated across numerous social media platforms and other internet forums. B, your assertions about Mr. Edmiston are categorically false and were made by you either with knowledge or of their falsity or in reckless disregard for the truth. To date, there are no publicly available facts or evidence supporting your assertions that Mr. Edmiston is a suspect in any crime, is a suspect in Mr. Wells' death, caused or contributed to Mr. Wells' death, engaged in any conduct to obscure or conceal Mr. Wells' death or its circumstances, or engaged in any criminal wrongdoing whatsoever. You have nevertheless repeatedly presented these accusations to the public as fact. Meanwhile, your own publications demonstrate that you are speculating about matters of which you possess no firsthand knowledge and no competent evidence. Watching the full panoply of your videos, you have repeatedly, frequently, and erratically changed your own theories about what happened, who is responsible, what criminal codes are implicated, and what efforts are being made to expose or cover up the truth. Oh, let me scoot over a little bit more. All right. So then it says, Mr. Edmiston has timely, fully, and voluntarily cooperated with law enforcement throughout their investigation. He set for interviews and fully disclosed his knowledge concerning the events of July 4th, 2026. He provided a list of potential witnesses to authorities, including those who were on the boat he was piloting. He allowed for the inspection of his phone, his boat, and GPS without hesitation and without a warrant. He shared requested videos and photos from that day. He has been an open book with authorities, and at no point have authorities identified him as a person of interest or suspect in any crime. The investigative file concerning the death of Nolan Wells has been sealed by the Jackson County District Attorney pending completion of the investigation and to preserve its integrity. Your repeated false assertions of fact concerning Mr. Edmiston's supposed criminal culpability, therefore, are not based upon publicly available investigative findings because none exist. They are figments of your uninformed imagination, and they are dangerous. C. Publication of personal information places Mr. Edmiston and his family at safety risk, has created emotional distress, and is interfering with their business interests. Your conduct extends beyond false accusations. You have repeatedly published photographs of Mr. Edmiston residence, his residential address, land plats, identifying his property information concerning his family members, information concerning family business, references to his university, his place on his university's football team, and his potential to play in the NFL. Publishing identifying information up to and including his location alongside allegations that Mr. Edmiston is a suspect in the death of Mr. Wells, that he caused or contributed to Mr. Wells' death, or that he is implicated in efforts to conceal Mr. Wells' death or circumstances behind it, foreseeably exposes Mr. Edmiston and his family to harassment, threats, intimidation, and physical danger. It also significantly magnifies the damages resulting from your publications. To compound the safety risk you are creating for his family, your posts deliberately seek to cause financial harm or loss of opportunities for Mr. Edmiston and his family. You have posted both of his parents' places of employment, and in one video bragged about coming for his father's money since he is a physician. Separately, you have discussed interrupting Mr. Edmiston's opportunity to potentially play in the NFL. D. Anticipated causes of action. Your conduct gives rise to multiple causes of action, including but not limited to 1. Defamation, libel, and slander. 2. Defamation by implication. 3. False light invasion of privacy. 4. Torturous interference with existing and prospective business relationships. 5. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. All right. Let me take a drink of water real quick. All right. And this is water with a splash of cranberry, by the way. So, where was I? 6, negligent infliction of emotional distress. This summary is intended to give you a sense of anticipated claims that will be pursued in litigation, and not to provide an exhaustive listing of the legal theories Mr. Edmiston and his family may pursue. We reserve all rights to assert additional claims. We fully anticipate seeking compensatory damages, presumed damages where authorized by law, consequential economic damages, emotional distress damages, punitive damages, prejudgment interest where available, cost, and all other relief permitted by law. Okay, so E, demand for immediate cessation of activity and preservation of evidence. Mr. Edmiston demand that you immediately, 1, cease making any further false statements concerning him or his family. To paraphrase Will Smith, I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied. To paraphrase Will Smith, keep their names out your mouth. So we got a kick out of this yesterday because if you're going to quote Will Smith in a cease and desist, you better quote him and not paraphrase. He said, keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth. Okay? But he decided to paraphrase Will Smith and say, to paraphrase Will Smith, keep their names out your mouth. 2, change every Facebook, Instagram, or other social media post, no matter the platform, which refers to Mr. Edmiston, to private, locked, or an equivalent setting that removes the material from public view while preserving the content in its original form for evidentiary purposes. 3, immediately cease publishing or republishing Mr. Edmiston's address, photographs of his residence, land plats, identifying information concerning his property, or similar material. 4, immediately cease encouraging or facilitating harassment directed towards Mr. Edmiston and his family or his associates. 5, preserve every document, draft, recording, photograph, screenshot, text message, email, direct message, metadata file, analytic record, monetization record, communication with third parties, and electronically stored information related in any way to your publications concerning Mr. Edmiston or Mr. Wells. This demand extends to all devices, cloud accounts, and social media accounts under your possession or control. You should understand that we will be simultaneously putting Meta on notice to preserve all ESI related to your accounts and subpoenaing the same information. Destruction or alteration of relevant evidence after receipt of this letter may constitute spoliation and may result in additional sanctions, adverse inferences, or being held in contempt. F, demand for a public correction and apology. Although Mississippi law does not require Mr. Edmiston to afford you an opportunity to retract your defamatory statements before pursuing litigation against you, Mr. Edmiston is nevertheless extending the opportunity that will take into account. Accordingly, we demand that you publish a correction and apology with substantially the following substance. So they gave her a script that they wanted her to read. All right. So in the next slide, they said, this is what we want you to say. I previously made statements asserting or implying that Bart Edmiston was a suspect in, responsible for, or otherwise involved in the death of Nolan Wells or in its cover-up. I acknowledge that I had no factual basis for making those assertions. At present, the investigative file concerning Nolan Wells has been sealed pending completion of the investigation, and I possessed no evidence otherwise concealed. I possessed no evidence establishing that Mr. Edmiston committed any crime, caused or committed to Mr. Wells' death, or otherwise concealed the cause of his death at the time of my statements. My prior statements concerning Mr. Edmiston were conjecture and speculation devoid of factual support. I retract those statements and apologize to Mr. Edmiston. And then he says, I would add that since you hold yourself out as a law professor, if that is actually inaccurate, and or if you are not a licensed attorney, you should include that admission in your apology. It is not unreasonable to infer that some of your audience might believe your defamatory statements are credible because of a perception that you have specialized knowledge about the law. Mr. Edmiston fully reserves the right to pursue litigation regardless of whether a correction is published. However, your willingness or refusal to promptly correct the record will necessarily be relevant to issues of malice, damages, punitive damages, or mitigation. Unless we receive written confirmation within 5 business days of your receipt of this letter and that you have fully complied with each of the foregoing demands, Mr. Edmiston is prepared to pursue all available legal remedies without further notice. So this is what they posted, and they sent her as a cease and desist, where they said, we gonna sue you. Okay? They said, bitch, we gonna sue your ass. And she basically responded to them saying, bitch, we gonna sue your ass, by saying this.
And I need to work for Crump. Y'all don't understand how this shit works. I couldn't work for Crump. If I worked for Crump, I'd have to be quiet. Are you?
I think this is before the lawsuit allegation, and then we're gonna go to her direct response after. This came before that.
Dumb? I'm rogue. That's the only reason why I can do what I'm doing. I have no bar license to protect, no medical license to protect. I'm not under any governing board. Nobody can dictate my behavior. So if they want to come after me, they have to come after me directly, and they have to find me first, and they have to prove that what I'm saying is wrong. And yeah, I'm ready for them to do that because I have a stack of lawyers behind me who are ready to get famous over this, because now it's not going to be just a national case. It's going to be a worldwide fucking case when y'all try to sue the one white girl that was trying to fucking help. So I dare y'all to do that. I fucking hope and pray. I'm poor. That's a marketing play for me and the legal team to get up there. All them lawyers are going to be famous over this. Sue the fuck out of me, baby. I'd fucking pay just to have that publicity. Stop saying that I need to work for Crump. Y'all don't understand how this shit works. I couldn't work for Crump.
All right. She also said this.
Okay, worst case scenario, you sue me, you win. Let's say you win. What you gonna do? You can't get blood from a fucking rock, dog. What are you gonna do? What? Okay, I'll claim bankruptcy. Maybe I claim bankruptcy, what, like 4 or 5 times, and I could be president one day. Okay, that's how it's gonna work. So do what you gotta do. You want to sue me? Let me tell you how it's gonna go. Come here. Let me put my glasses on. All right. I am poor. I have nothing. I don't own anything. You can't put a lien on property. I have nothing. Okay. So you're going to first have to prove that what I'm saying is false. Okay. Then it's going to cost you so much money. I got free lawyers. You know how many lawyers have been hitting me up, like begging to take the case because they know the publicity. Here's what you don't understand. You suing me. Oh, that makes everybody feel bad for me. And guess what? People want to pay me when that happens, baby. And I'm poor. So, okay, worst case scenario, you sue me, you win. Let's say you win. What you gonna do? You can't get blood from a fucking rock, dog. What are you gonna do? What? Okay, I'll claim bankruptcy. Maybe I claim bankruptcy, what, like 4 or 5 times, and I could be president one day. Okay, that's how it's gonna work. So do what you gotta do. You want to sue me? Let me tell you.
All right. So after she made all of these claims saying, listen, I ain't got it. You know, I don't got no money. I ain't got it. They made statements through Russie And the family of Bart said it's not about money. All right. So they said, listen, we're going to sue you anyways. And it's not about money. We want you to stop talking about our Bart. All right. So let me show that. And I had it queued up, but let's go to Rusty's page. And like I told you, she knows that this brings publicity. Rusty is happy about the publicity also, okay? Rusty like, listen, I'm about to be on the Como show. You know, I'm about to be in there. Okay, because I wonder if all of the other times when he was ranting and raving about this case, if anybody cared. But now he got, you know what I'm saying? He said he was going to represent people free of charge. Now look at Rusty that moved on up. He said, I appreciate Chris Como's invitation to appear on News Nation tonight to discuss our effort to slow an unhinged social media culture that profits from tragedy and lies. This is not a game of Clue where you get to guess. If you say someone's a murderer without evidence, that's defamation. All right, he moving on up, baby. He making the big time. But let's go through some of the other things that he said. All right, because he even made some quotes that he said. All right, he talking about cowards and all kind of stuff. So this is some of the stuff. Hold on, let's bring that up. He said, cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death, but once Shakespeare. And then truth is worth defending. Courage is contagious. Stand for something. So Rusty is standing for something. All right. And this is the statement that he made from the Edmiston family, where they are saying that it's not about money and they're going to go after your ass even if you are broke. All right. So it says, statement released by the Edmiston family. The Edmiston family expresses its sincere condolences to the family of Nolan Wells for their tragic loss. Like so many in Ocean Springs, across Mississippi, and across the nation, our prayers for answers and peace are with his parents, family, and friends. Out of respect for Nolan's family and the integrity of the investigative process, we have chosen not to draw public attention to ourselves as unfettered speculation rage. Recent targeted attacks on our son, Bart Jr., now make our silence impossible. Hundreds of Mississippi Gulf Coast residents journeyed out to Horn Island to celebrate the holiday on the 4th of July. Home from college, Bart Jr. was among them. He piloted his own boat to Horn Island and piloted his own boat home. When a nearby boat suffered a mechanical malfunction on the afternoon of the 4th, Bart Jr. gave advice and direct aid to the distressed vessel. As part of this, he boarded the distressed vessel for a short distance. These actions allowed water that accumulated on the distressed vessel to drain. Bart Jr. believes that more than 20 passengers were spread across the two boats to witness these events. Others may have also witnessed from the water or shore. When Nolan's disappearance and death came to light, Bart Jr. freely and fully cooperated with law enforcement investigating the tragedy. He sat for interviews, answered all of the questions he was asked, and shared all of his recollection from July 4th, 2026. Bart Jr. also compiled a list of potential witnesses, including passengers on the boat he was piloting, to share with investigators. He allowed his phone to be viewed and shared requested photographs and videos from that day with law enforcement. He also permitted the inspection of his boat and GPS device. He did all of this without counsel, without requiring warrants, and without hesitation. Bart Jr. has been an open book during the process. He, like so many in our community, wants a thorough, fair, and impartial investigation that does not start with a pre-drawn conclusion, but seeks and finds the truth. At no point in this process has Bart Jr. ever been identified as a suspect in Nolan's death. This has not stopped people from engaging in dangerous speculation, nor has it stopped outright fabrications with each new name mentioned by the media or on social media. A new mob immediately argues that person must somehow be culpable. Facts are invented out of thin air. AI is used to distort or create photographs, videos, or audio. People begin to draw unsubstantiated conclusions, and reckless threats follow. This week, it has been Bart Jr.'s turn to be accused by thousands of online strangers who do not know him, do not know any relevant facts, and do not care about our community or the truth of what happened. We grieve the loss of Nolan, but as a family, we are also concerned for the lives of our children and safety of others being convicted in a court of public opinion without facts, indeed contrary to known evidence. We cannot allow our son to be slandered or our family to be doxxed and threatened, including threats made as recently as yesterday on Bart Jr.'s life, without attempting to correct the record and hold egregious actors responsible for the danger they are manufacturing. To that end, we have retained legal counsel for the purpose of pursuing recourse against those individuals fabricating lies about him or our family. The first cease and desist and spoliation letter is being issued today to an online user who originated many of the falsehoods against Bart Jr. This user shared pictures of our home, our residential address, land plats, and information about our work, while simultaneously falsely asserting through various videos and posts that Bart Jr. is a suspect, that he caused or contributed to Nolan's death, or that he is involved in a cover-up of Nolan's death. It's a toxic combination in an emotionally charged environment. Let me make sure y'all still here with me. Have y'all hit the like button yet? Are y'all still watching? Are y'all still here with me? And whenever I'm on live, I like to have water with a splash of the organic cranberry juice, right? So if you put like the not the ocean spray cranberry juice, but the organic cranberry, if you just put a splash of that in your water, child, I love it. Anyways, so press 1 if y'all still here with me, and we're going to continue reading through. All right. So it says, none of these things are true. There's no evidence to support these claims. Let us be clear. Bart Jr. helped a boat that was in distress. He did not kill a friend, witness the death of a friend, or conceal the death of a friend. These are fictions made up by people with no actual knowledge of the events of that day. Unfortunately, those fictions are seen by millions of people and often repeated. Our family is working with the FBI, the Mississippi Attorney General, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and local law enforcement to determine if federal and state cyber stalking crimes have been committed and to address the direct threats to our son's life. We will continue to pursue all available legal remedies. We will not be deterred by whether, okay, so this is her responding to the woman who said, I ain't got it. I ain't got no money, I'm poor. She said, we will continue to pursue all available legal remedies. We will not be deterred. We will not be deterred by whether offenders have the ability to compensate us for our damages. This is not about money. We are working to ensure the safety of our family, but also to push back on the very mob rule that ignores the truth, undermines the rule of law, destroys the presumption of innocence, and ultimately makes it harder for justice to prevail. We know this moment will pass. The truth will win out. The reckless mob will move on to the next big thing, but in their wake, they will leave a grieving family, young men whose reputation have been forever tarnished, and a community of people who used to smile to each other in the grocery store, but who trust just a little less now. It is a tragic reality of society full of internet sleuths, unconcerned by the damage their lies wreak. We would simply like to implore people to think deeply about the potential consequences of things they say without proof or knowledge. Ask yourself, do I know this to be true? Are the things I'm saying likely to help or hurt? Am I doing this because it is right or because I crave attention? Spreading false information does not honor Nolan's life or his family's loss. It pulls us further away from the truth. We can all be better in these moments. So that is what Russie put out on behalf of his clients. And they are putting everybody on notice that are making any type of allegations about their Bart Jr. And they also addressed the picture. The attorney also addressed the picture that was floating around where people were saying that Katie is the girl that was pictured with Bart, right? So remember in the beginning, a while ago, I told you guys how there was this picture of Bart and this girl that people were saying that it was Katie, and people were alleging that he dated her and that the issue that led to Nolan being deceased happened because of an alleged love triangle that Bart allegedly confronted him about. So this was something that, was circulated through online. And they also addressed that as well. So let me read that to y'all really quickly. This is what he said to that. So it says, there is a picture circulating this morning of Bart Edmiston Jr. from high school with a young woman. Bart is now 21 and in college. In other words, this picture is old. People are asserting that the young woman in the picture is someone named Katie McCormick. But Bart had an intimate relationship with Miss McCormick, and that he killed Nolan Wells because Nolan was speaking to her. The person in the circulating photograph with a much younger Bart is not Katie McCormick. We can say this definitively, not because Bart has a relationship with Miss McCormick, but because Bart knows exactly who the person photographed is. So too would anyone who attended high school with them. Out of respect for her privacy, we are not going to identify her by name. Bart is not now, nor has he ever been in a relationship with Katie McCormick. He did not know who she was before this tragedy occurred. Let me be abundantly clear. Bart Edmiston Jr. did not kill or in any way contribute to the tragic death of Nolan Wells. He has no motive to do so. All he did was help a boat that was in distress. He has fully and freely cooperated with authorities, sharing every bit of information he knows, providing access to his boat, his GPS, and his phone, and sharing witness lists with investigators. He has done all of this without criminal counsel, though most criminal attorneys would advise against that. Without hesitation and without requiring any warrant, that has been publicly quiet as a byproduct of respect for Wells' family and investigative process, blah, blah. So this person wanted to know about the comment that he made that he had not been in the area for over a year. It says, what is Bart Jr.'s response to the comment he made on social media stating that he had not been down here in over a year and was out of town during the events? Would he like to publicly clarify this comment? I felt that it was misconstrued, but I have seen it circulating. So Rusty replies and says, I think he would tell you that he did not say that, saying you have not been to a particular town in Mississippi while it says, I think he would tell you that he did not say that, saying you have not been to a particular town in Mississippi while is not the same thing as saying you've not been to Mississippi. I've not been to Baton Rouge recently, but I have been in Louisiana. Bart Jr. has never disputed that he was on Horn Island on July 4th. It seems like such a silly, moot point. So what she was asking him about is this post right here, where Bart posted to somebody and he says, hey, I just want you to know Nolan was a friend of mine. I want justice and the facts to come out. I just want you to know I live in Wyoming. I think he meant I live in Wyoming and have not been in Pass Christian for over a year. I grieve for Nolan and want the same as everyone else. Thank you for your support. So this is the comment that was circulating that the woman was asking him about. And this is the mom explaining that they took said comment out of context. And then, as you've seen, that was his lawyer saying that is two different things. So that is basically what has been going on. I'm not sure if Rusty is an ambulance chaser, but it seems like prior to getting them as clients, he was desperately trying to get in on the action and offered his services free of charge. That sounds like an ambulance chaser to me, or maybe it's just a concerned Mississippian who desperately wants to defend their honor. You know, who knows? I don't know. But what do you guys think about it? I feel like they are trying to silence people. Now, I do agree that some of the coverage from some people can go a little bit too far. I feel like we can discuss what's publicly available and we can discuss our suspicions. But I do think like putting personal addresses out, I think that's a step a little bit too far, in my opinion. But hey, that's what folks do. So they are putting out intimidation threats that they're going to sue and that people need to pipe down. Now, I'm going to continue to cover this case and cover all things that have been made public and anything that I deem to be important. And because I have integrity, I'm not afraid of people who seem like, now I don't know if he's an ambulance chaser, but who seem like ambulance chasers to me. I'm not gonna stop covering it, but I'm going to cover it like I do any other story with integrity, like I always do. Talk about the things that I can confirm or things that are out there that are circulating or trending, and do like I always do. I'm not for, just making up stuff. That's never been my thing. But what's out there and available, you can kind of make some assumptions, like the fact that, never mind. But what do you guys think about this. I want to know what y'all think. I'm going to be covering it. Is there something that I have not covered yet that you guys want me to cover? Again, we talked about a lot of this on my live yesterday, but it was not given because I wasn't on camera. I was laying in the bed. I was laying down at the same time. So it really wasn't given. So I had to come back and give y'all everything that needed to be gave. Okay, period. Let's see if there's anything else that we need to go over. Let's see. Let's see what else. Make sure y'all check my last video where I went over officer former Mr. Tatum and all of the antics that he has going on. Just did her. Oh, let's see. Did you watch Crump's press conference? I seen clips. Y'all want me to go over the press conference? Somebody said don't leave us yet. Do y'all want me to go over the press conference? We can go over the press conference if y'all want, but I'm going to end this live. So because I already went live today and this is my second live, y'all may not get the notification. So refresh my page, all right? Refresh my page and then we'll go over the press conference, all right? So I'm going to end this live. Y'all hit refresh and come right back. Because I went live already for 2 times, y'all may not get the notification. So come back.